This is, if you were here last week, we had our celebration Sunday, and we were looking back of what God's done in this church and outside of the church over this last year. Our vision last year was cultivating the ground to be ready for growth. It was about making sure that we had the foundations in place so that when God moves, we were ready to join him in building his church. And the vision this year is more. And we're calling it tending the field. It's God's field. He's the master landscaper, and we want to press into that further. So, there's quite a lot to cover. I'll prepare you now. And the reason there is because God is really stirring those things in us as a church. I might get you to stretch halfway through, but let's go through it together. I wanted to share a passage that was shared with me after last Sunday, and I think it's super relevant. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I think that's a challenge for us as a church in this moment. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? There's a real sense of God doing something in our nation, in our town, and in our church. Do we perceive it? And on this Vision Sunday, it's really about pressing in to listen to God, listen to what he's saying, and join him in this moment where we start to see things shift and move. It was great last week to reflect on what God has been doing, both individually within us and collectively as a church. And today we talk through how we believe God will do more. He'll go deeper with us. He'll lead us into new things, and he'll build on what's to come before. This isn't a new year where we start again and we start something new. God is continually building his church. He's continually building his kingdom. And this is why our focus in the next year is tending the field. As we've seen the ground being prepared by him, and we continue to press into praying and discerning the areas we should be putting our focus into. There's parts of the field that still need hard work. Perhaps what Elaine was speaking into earlier. It's tough, and we don't see the growth and the fruit, but it's not to say we shouldn't do it if God is telling us to do it. And there's some parts of the field where it's ready for growth. God has prepared the ground, and we start to see the new shoots growing in the field, and we start to see that new season of growth. And I believe that's what this next year is all about. So this morning we're going to look at what is our focus for 2025 as a church. Who gets to play in that? Who does it involve? And how can we step into it in this next season? So first of all, what is our focus for 2025? Firstly, the field is ripe. Do you mind getting me some water, please? The field is ripe. Thank you. You've probably heard some of the stats over the last few weeks. The Bible Society ran a recent study looking at the openness for Jesus, the openness for church amongst England and Wales. If you haven't seen it, do have a look at the report. If you Google The Quiet Revival by the Bible Society, you'll very soon find it. But it specifically says that there's an overall rise in church attendance between 2018 to 2024, going from 8% of the population to 12% of the population. That's a 50% increase in 6 years. It represents about 2 million people in England and Wales going to church that didn't go to church before 2018. Before that, there was a decreasing trend of people going away from church. But actually, we're seeing the opposite at the moment. And the key demographic driving this growth is 18 to 24 age group. Monthly, and I'm getting goosebumps as I say this, monthly church attendance within this segment has quadrupled, increasing from 4% in 2018 to 16% in 2024. A substantial increase shows that there's a shift, an unquestionable shift in the young adults of this nation. Further analysis shows there's a surge, particularly in young men within that age bracket, going from 4% to 21% over the same period of time. And again, we were seeing decline in the church before that, but where there were areas of growth, it tended to be in females. So again, we're seeing different trends to what had come before. It also highlights increase in ethnic diversity within the church congregation. Currently, 19% of all church attendees identify as belonging to an ethnic minority. And this rises in churchgoers, especially in young black individuals. 47% aged 18 to 34 report attending church on a monthly basis. God's doing something in this nation, especially with young adults, but across the whole nation. But it's not only going to church. Data regarding spiritual practice has also taken this similar trend. The data reveals that 37% of young adults express a curiosity to learn about the Bible. 40% of this age group engage in prayer at least monthly. 67% report reading the Bible at least weekly outside of a church service. There's a stirring going on. It also shows there's a correlation between church attendance and reported well-being. Young adults who attend church demonstrate higher levels of life satisfaction, stronger feelings of community connection, and lower incidences of anxiety and depression when compared to their non-church-going peers. The data suggests that a sense of community and belonging offered by the church is a significant motivating factor to attendance, particularly among younger individuals. 31% of non-churchgoers indicated a higher likelihood of attending if friends or families invited them. 1 in 3 would come to church if a friend or family invited them. That's amazing, isn't it? Those numbers, and we see it within our church here. We've started to see a shift, especially in our young people and our young adults, as they seek something more real. So how do we prepare ourselves? How do we react to this as a church? Let's read 1 Corinthians 3, verse 5 to 9 together. If you haven't got a Bible, the words will come on the screen. What, after all, is Apollos? And what is Paul? Only servants through whom you came to believe, as the Lord has assigned to each his task. I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow. So neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but only God, who makes things grow. The one who plants and the one who waters has one purpose, and they will each be rewarded according to their own labor. For we are co-workers in God's service. You are God's field, God's building. We are God's field. We are God's building. We plant and water, but it's God that gives growth. And this is what we want to press into more as a church in this next year. Listening to him and joining in the things that God has for us. It's God's kingdom, it's God's plan, it's his church, it's his kingdom, and we get to play a part in that. And we can't forget that. And I think we've seen the fruit of pressing into that over this last year in particular, and earlier than that. But that's what we want to press into in a deeper way. How do we steward these things as a church? Being ready to act and react when we see God move. Being ready to prepare for a move of God. And leaving space for God to speak to us prophetically about what's to come, so that we're ready when they do. Our vision remains the same. A transformational church community following Jesus, joining God in the renewal of all things. We've had this vision for quite a few years now, but we've seen how God is helping us to grow and helping us to lean into that in a deeper way each year. In this last year, we've seen that our focus to reach new communities in Northampton, in both the town centre and Northampton East. We've seen a dramatic shift in our young adults as they've naturally nurtured relationships and grown in Jesus over this last year. We've seen a shift in how we use our resources for wider things than just us as a church, supporting regional vineyard ministries, worship gatherings, and senior pastor gatherings. We've seen more people seek to know Jesus and join our community circles. And our community circles, our small groups, have grown. We've been challenged to nurture our posture of compassion over Lent so that we can more deeply address the needs of the people around us. And all of those things that were written and stuck on the wall last year that we were grateful for, that we see God doing, this is all wrapped up in that as well. We continue to seek to walk with Jesus and with each other through the breakthroughs and through the hard times as a church community. And as we seek to listen to God, observe what's going on in our nation, in our town, and in this church, and wider in the nation, this is our focus for the next year, is to press into this in a deeper way. Tend in the field in this next year. What are our focuses? They're to nurture our mission to serve the people around us. They're about nurturing the communities we serve in the town centre, in East, and in all of the places God has put us. And nurturing our partnerships with others around this to build unity. God's kingdom is greater than Central Vineyard, and we want to partner with others along the way. So what do those things mean? Nurturing our mission. Who are we serving, and what are their needs? So at the start of April, start of this financial year, we merged with Storehouse Church. We now are one church in 2 locations. We have 2 communities around us that we serve in the context of our neighbours. Our posture towards our neighbours, our vision to see God move and renew things around us is the same, but actually the execution in those 2 neighbourhoods will look different. We've got Vision Sunday here today and in the East on the 1st of June. And the execution will look different. Up to now will look the same, but actually having a posture of compassion and seeing things through God's eyes of the needs of the people around us will be different in those two communities. We've also lent in to where God has put us individually as well. It's not a great map, but that's a map of where we're all placed around Northamptonshire. God has called us to those places. In our This Is Love series, we were talking about how we love our neighbour at home, how we love our neighbour in our neighbourhoods and our workplaces and where God has put us, how we love the stranger, how we love the needy. And that's all worked out within our mission as a church. What do we do collectively, but also how do we show God's love and kingdom in the places that God has put us? That remains the same, and we'll look to press into that deeper as well. Nurturing the communities that we serve. So I keep referring to This Is Love. That's not going to go away. We're going to continue to listen to God. We're going to continue to nurture a posture of compassion in all we do, because it's an overflow of what God does in us. It's an overflow to others and the communities around us. So what does that mean for us as town centre site? Well, there's a few things that are going on at the moment. We've had a lot of talk about partnerships. We've had a lot of discussions with the council over the last few months. And there's the Greyfriars Regeneration Project, also called Amplify. And this is what it looks like presently. They're reworking the design at the moment. You can go, if you search for Amplify Northampton, you can find the website there. It will change. But in this last iteration, we're right in the middle of their plans to regenerate this whole area. They want to knock down the Marehold car park and build about 1,000 homes in this area. And the line literally goes around our building of their plans. Now, of course, we've got a new council. There's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. This could all change. Who knows? Well, God knows, doesn't he? He knows what's going to happen. He knows the fine details of the conversations that are going on at the moment. And I think our place is to pray into, God, prophetically, can you show us what it's going to look like? Can you show us what our neighbourhood's going to look like in 3, 5, 10 years' time? And can you be preparing us now so that we can step into it? What does that mean for us individually? What does that mean for us as a church? What does that mean for the resources that he's given us to use for his kingdom? So let's pray, first of all. Let's pray in our prayer spaces. Let's continue to pray. I mean, this is not a new thing. We've been praying for our neighbours. We've been praying for Northampton. But let's bravely ask God, how do you want to lead us into this next things? What are the brave decisions that we need to make to be able to be ready for the community around here in the forthcoming years? We want to put into practice a posture of compassion. There's a few things that have come out over the last probably 2 or 3 months since we've done This Is Love. Evangelism is one of them. Isn't it a ripe time for evangelism to maybe relook at some of the things that have been done before, discern what's right for those people that are seeking at the moment to know God and to go and speak with them? Befriending. It's great having people through the door, but let's get alongside people, whatever background that they have, whoever comes through our door or into our path. How do we love them? How do we befriend them? What are the resources available to us to show compassion and to show Jesus and speak Jesus into them. And loving our neighbour, as I said, at home, in our neighbourhoods, to the poor, to the stranger. As I said earlier, we've got a fun day coming up. That's a great time, but it's not the only time. Can we almost use that as a springboard, as a catalyst into serving our community in the town centre at this time? So on the fun day, we will use that as a chance to practice these things together and the opportunities to be able to befriend and serve our community. And finally, for us, who do we partner with? I believe we're in a real season of openness to work together across churches and organisations. I think that's sometimes an indicator of awakening or revival, where churches can come together in unity because we want to see a move of God. And we need to protect this, and we also need to nurture those key partnerships that we've already nurtured. Now, we have some already. I think we need the discernment to know what to get involved in as well. You know, that there's God's king, as I said, God's kingdom is far wider, and there's things that we will get involved in, there's things that we won't get involved in. And it's how to have discernment and wisdom as a church to go know God's wisdom in how we partner with others in unity as he seeks to bring about his kingdom. So that's what is the focus. Now who? Who gets to play? Who does this involve? Any guesses? Us. It's all of us. We all get to play. We all play a part of the kingdom. We're all part of God's family. And we all get to play. It's one of our strengths as a church. John Wimber often talked about it. Everyone gets to play. As we send each other out into the region, into Northamptonshire, we send each other out to play, to be a part of Jesus in everywhere that he puts us. There's been some great leaders over the years, but I think in this next season, God is raising up a generation that is almost faceless from a human perspective, because it's about raising Jesus up. There may not be prominent, visible leaders along the way that will lead the way, and it's not because there's no leadership, but actually it's protecting that Jesus is the one that we lift up high. We're humbled by God. We know what he can do, and we give the plans. Well, they are his plans, and we want to join in, and it's for us all. It's for each one of us, with the passions, the gifts, the strengths, the desires that God's put in you, the calling he's put on each of us. It's for us to step into. Now, of course, we have teams and responsibilities, but it's part of the teams that serve this church to steward all of this, to build up the body, to build up all of us in our mission as a church. And I'm going to run through a few changes in terms of the teams that serve. Some remains the same, but it's a journey. But as I said, these teams are here to lead, shepherd, steward, and empower the church into these things as we all play our part. Does that make sense? Ish? Okay, all right, a few more nods, that's good. There's a call on those with responsibility in this church, but it's a call to empower the wider church. And we protect this on the journey as we move. And of course, we move, adjust, and bravely step into what God is leading us into. So before I do, a context of where the responsibilities are. We've got 4 teams in the church. Firstly, senior pastors, Vicky and I, we're here to set vision, direction, doctrine, and discipline. Of course, we've got the people around us to support us, to give us advice, to give us accountability. We have our ministry and operations team on the next slide. So nothing changes here. So these are people who continue to serve the church, expand our ministry areas, and how we operate so we can empower the church. It's not our responsibility to do it. It's our responsibility to empower us all as a church in our giftings, passions, and callings to serve him. You may or may not know we also have an extended team. This is a team of people who lead in different ministry areas in some capacity. So the preaching team, worship leaders, our circle leaders, our ministry and operations team, and our staff team. And we meet once a term so that we're all on the same page with what's going to happen next. How do we encourage the church, us all as a church, to step into what's going on and the direction God is taking us in? And lastly, we have our trustee board. Now, trustee boards can work differently across churches. Some churches, the trustee board is the leadership team. Vineyard churches choose not to do it this way. Across Vineyard churches, UK and Ireland, the trustee board is there to make sure we manage our resources and enable us to operate well as a charity. They will report as needed to the Charity Commission, our finances, achievements, and future plans. And they're the employers of the staff team and doing that well, and as well as stewards who make sure that we're using our assets, our reputation, and our resources well, managing risk within it all, and making sure that we work well as a church charity. And we've taken time to try to do this well, and with the merging together with Storehouse Church, it's a great time to do it in line with the direction God has taken us in. And so we have a renewed trustee board. Sam Rajagopal is stepping down now, and we really thank her for her patience and support along the way. And Steve G., who was the founding pastor here, a lot of you will know him. They've now church planted in Milton Keynes. He will continue as our chair. This gives us continued momentum. I think I said before, God is building on the things that he's done before. And so it's good to have Steve of churches and with our link with Vineyard churches. I will continue as the senior pastor on the board, which is a requirement from Vineyard churches. And we welcome Simon, who's hiding at the back, and also Mike Smither, who goes to our east site, to join us and give insights and views across our both location. One church, 2 locations. We will in time look to appoint another trustee to make it 5 as God leads us. And we'd also like to make it more diverse as well as we do. But with all of these things, we don't want to rush. We want to listen to God's leading and guiding and those that he's calling into these areas. Are we all doing well? Do we need a stretch? We good? We're good. Okay, good. Because the next bit, I'm excited about it all. But this next is, we're particularly excited about it. We want to support the emerging generation to step into things locally in this church. It's the heart of Vineyard churches across this nation, but we want to play our part in supporting the emerging generation, especially as we've seen things stir. And we got super excited, actually, when Vineyard churches announced recently, just in this last few weeks,